Yes, they want to replace white people. Stay with me and I'll tell you why.
Wow, not even 5 seconds in, and the pain has already begun.
The Great Replacement is a term originally used by a French writer, Renaud Camus, who used it to describe the demographic replacement happening in France due to mass immigration policies combined with low birth rates among the native French.
Great, so your authority is a 70-year-old French man who, prior to this theory that you guys have glommed onto, his great claims to fame were gay erotica and an anti-Semitic rant on French radio. Way to pick 'em.
But of course, this applies to many European countries. The UN literally has a program called replacement migration.
Okay, just a quick pause here to show you some things that you didn't want people to notice. One, this is a report, not a policy. Two, it's a report on existing trends, not a recommendation on future policies. Just little details. Anyways, continue.
The premise behind it is total garbage. They claim replacement migration is needed in the West to help take care of an aging population.
Okay, this is a good time to stop and just examine your basic premise. The aging population is not a fiction. People have known about this for decades upon decades upon decades. This is the result of baby boomers aging out of the workforce and low population replacement values. Basically, Westerners were not having enough babies. And that's not surprising. It's something you see in rich, well-established cultures. The birth rate goes down because you don't need to have 6 kids to support you when you're older. So, there's a real problem. How do you solve it? Well, I suppose you could find some way to creatively reduce the aging population. That's more than just a little morally questionable. Your other option would have been, 40 years ago, to forbid your Western women from going to work and having a job and a career and pursuing school and all the other things that women like to do. Good luck with that. Your third option is immigration. So where are you going to get immigrants from? Newsflash, the U.S. is not a major immigration magnet for white Europeans. They have a very good quality of life. It's actually better than most Americans' quality of life, and they don't really see a good reason to immigrate to the U.S. to reduce their quality of life. There are some very limited exceptions. Entertainment and some medical. Outside of that, you don't see a lot of white Europeans clamoring to get to America. Now, there is a group of white Europeans, or Eurasians, I guess, depending on exactly how you feel like drawing the borders, that would love to come to America. Unfortunately, they live under an authoritarian government that won't let them. So, that pretty much eliminates your source of other white people for America. Now, what are you going to do? It's a problem. You have to solve it. With that aging population, you'll end up with an inversion. You'll have more people out of the workforce than in the workforce. That's not sustainable. So you're going to have to just hold your nose and let in those brown and black folks to live in your nice little pristine country so that they can support you when you retire. It's how it works. I know, reality, you don't like it. But that doesn't matter. It's still reality.
Yes, Africans, Middle Easterners, and Asians who don't take care of their own people are led into Europe because they're going to be good taxpayers, take care of our old people, and save Western civilization. It's the solution to a declining and aging population.
Holy crap, she actually got it.
Psh, no one really believes this.
No, she didn't.
Stats show the complete opposite. Migrants in Europe and all over the West cost us greatly, and not just financially. About this aging and dying population not having kids, first, populations have always ebbed and flowed. It's nothing to freak out about. There are still millions of young, fit Europeans in their countries who are having kids. And if you ask me, there are too many people on the planet already.
Didn't ask you, and glad I didn't. I suspect your answer to this would be horrific. Not to mention the fact that you don't even understand what a population inversion is or what it means for an economy.
It can't just keep going up and up forever.
Wow, you got one right. Even a blind pig will find the odd acorn. Population experts estimate global population will plateau at approximately 9 billion once increasing populations start to decrease again due to their prosperity.
Secondly, if
No, you don't get to use the word secondly, implying you've actually made a single point yet. You haven't. This is firstly.
governments in the UN were so concerned about Europe's low birth rates, they'd easily incentivize a baby boom, like in Russia, Hungary, and Italy.
Wow. Russia, Hungary, and Italy. Those are your exemplars. Russia and Hungary are both authoritarian governments. Italy's still more than just a little bit fascist. Go ahead, you tell Western women to stay home and have babies. Good luck with that.
There's a lot they can do to make babies happen, but instead they open the borders for needy foreigners who eat up resources, welfare, and take territory.
You mean like an apartment? Okay, I'm going to speed this up and get to the section on why. She's managed to miss the what entirely, so the why should be funny. If you're actually masochistic enough that you really want to watch this, I'll put the link to the original video in the description below.
And that white nuclear families help uphold white supremacy.
Sorry, I had to stop here. It's another one of those pig and acorn things. Yes, Jessie Daniels is a racist. But what Lana doesn't understand, apparently self-awareness isn't her thing, is that Jessie Daniels and Lana are just opposite sides of the exact same coin.
Reasons why they want to replace us. White people are defense number one against globalism and open borders.
Have you heard of North Korea?
We got Trump elected, we voted for a wall, and nationalism is rising in response to globalism all across the Western world. White people are number one fighting for free speech, liberty, prosperity, and limited government.
You aren't fighting for those things, you nitwit. You already have them. The actual fight for those things, you can trace it all the way back to Darius of the Persian Empire. Heck, you can trace it further back. This odd belief that whites are the only people, it's just idiotic. You understand that, don't you? Everything you're saying is idiotic.
Also holding politicians accountable. We invented these concepts.
Kings, dukes, counts, emperors, mandarins, imams, sheiks, tribal leaders, chieftains, all throughout history, down through the centuries, would like to have a word with you about the idea that you created political accountability. Are you even listening to what's coming out of your own mouth?
Globalists want a dependent, docile, compliant population that is easy to control. That isn't white people. White men established the greatest military systems on the face of the earth. Weapons, military strategy, tactics, organization.
Sun Tzu would like to have a word with you. You've heard of him, right? No, of course you haven't. Killing each other has been a major preoccupation of humanity from the time we climbed down out of the trees and the first man picked up the first rock. There's nothing new about this, there's nothing interesting about it, and newsflash, whites don't have a monopoly on it. Okay, at this point the stupidity has become painful. I'm just going to jump ahead, I'm going to see what her final thoughts are, and maybe I'll reply to that a little bit. See you soon. I actually sat through that drudge that I zipped past, and I did you a favor by zipping past. She actually said nothing interesting in any of it. Anyways, two final thoughts. Lana, going through life in ignorance is not a good way to live. Second, being marginally attractive, it's only skin deep, but ugly is to the bone. And you are ugly. Now it's time for the obligatory self-promotion. If you liked the video, subscribe, leave a comment, share it around. If you didn't like the video, leave a comment, let me know what you thought. In either case, have a great day, everyone.